Evening everyone, Angus Campbell here, Wednesday the 5th of February. Next drop, primary drive. This should be pretty straightforward, but also we'll need to think about the starter motor on the top here, and before we do anything we need to build up the clutch. So let's tidy up a little bit, get set up, and I'll bring you back. Right, so there we go, all the parts for the clutch. So to build it up, we've just got the thrust washer on the hub, basket goes on the top, like so, and then I've got to put the rollers in. I do have an admission to make. There should be 25 rollers and I've got 24. And the other roller set I've got is too big, probably for the larger twins. So 24 I think is going to be more than enough. So we'll get those set in there now, and after that then we push on the cush drive. Okay, rollers in, bathed in some oil, also put a bit of oil on that thrust washer, and there we go. Beautiful. That'll do me right. Hub just sits on. Just make sure it's clean on the back side. Right, I'll just need a couple of hands to tap that down and I'll bring you back. Okay, clutch built up as far as we can go and put together with the chain. There's a front sprocket behind there, then a sprag clutch, and then the sprocket for the starter chain, and that all goes on together onto the shaft and spline at the front. We've already checked the chain alignment with no shims here, and that was fine. And then at this end we've got the main shaft with a woodruff key. Right, we'll try and manoeuvre that on there in one piece now. Okay, primary drive installed, and that went on fairly straightforwardly. I've also tightened up the clutch hub knot, and whoops, and we've got, as you can see, the tab washers in place as well, tabs turned over. And what we can do now then is, well, it's probably a little bit early, but I'm so tempted to put the starter on so we can get the starter chain installed properly. So I think we'll do that first while we're just finishing off the clutch, because we can now put the clutch springs in and the faceplate as well. And we'll do that in the starter before we then come back and finish off with the rotor and the stator plate. Okay, clutch faceplate on with its tensioning screws in there and springs in their sockets. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the stator and the alternator on now, before I insert the starter properly, and that's because the stator wire has to go through there and out the other side, so I want to route that before I put the starter on, because it has to go underneath the starter. So we'll concentrate on this piece now. Okay, rotor on its key, tab washer turned over. The important thing with the rotor is making sure you've got all the correct spacing washers and thrust washers behind there, because otherwise you would trap the rotating wheel of the sprag clutch, because when the starter's not in operation the crank is rotating clockwise, but the chain wheel stays stationary on the starter, so effectively is running in reverse like so. and when it engages the other way it's tight clockwise because the sprags are engaging, but anti-clockwise it's free. And it's important, if you don't have the right spaces there, the rotor will trap that against the effectively the female side of the sprag clutch, so the chain wheel will actually be trapped. So we all seem to be good there, and so next stop, stator. Just a quick interlude. I've just realised that that's wrong. That's actually for the part for the clutch cable, which is as per the one that we've already mounted on the other side there. What we actually need is a longer stub like this, because then that ensures that the stator cable is well guided away from the starter chain. So I'll just swap that over, and then what we need to do then is feed a sealing rubber onto that cable, which that rubber slots over the end of that and then effectively seals it from leaking any oil. And then we'll put the stator on. Okay, that's the stator installed. Remembering to feed the wire through the starter chain, as it's an endless chain, before going through the cases and out through the back there. So now we can fit the starter, and the way that we do this is the small chain wheel on the end of the starter is just held on by a circlip on splines, so we can take that off, so we can wrap the chain around that and then push the starter through, and that's how we can then effectively install the endless chain on the starter motor, which slots into that round hole there and has, as you can see, an O-ring around it to seal it, so you've not got any room really to jiggle that starter about, which is why you have to take the end chain wheel off. So we'll do that now, and then we'll just about be there. There we go, job done. Starter installed on the back there. So as I said, just pushes through the hole here, and then we can slide on its chain wheel with the chain already wrapped around it on its sprocket teeth. Put the circlip on the end, which we've done, and then around on the other side the starter motor is secured in position. Can't see it too well with two screws, one there and one there. It's all very compact, shall we say. So I shan't be putting the cover on just yet on this side, because we need to check the clutch actuation once we've installed the cable, etc. on the other side. So that probably will be the next job on this. But for now we're nearly there, because we've got to get the head finished. And the good news on that front is that the head's going to the same engineer that's sleeving and boring the barrels for the A70 over there, which is waiting patiently. And the good news is this morning I went to pick up the barrels and here they are. So that job's done. I'll say a bit more about these barrels when I do a separate video back onto the A70 for a change. But now that job's done, shortly we can take in the head to get the work finished off on that. And then in the meantime, on the Fury, there's plenty of other things to do, mainly wiring, to be honest, and also making up a gasket for this side, which we'll do by using the flat face of the cover as the template, so that'll be fine. And then we can also think about putting the rear engine plate on this side, and then that will enable us to put the footrest, rear brake lever, rear brake rod, And also next, as I said before, we've got to have the wheel out to change this sprocket for the wrong pitch chain to this sprocket for the right pitch chain. But that's not too bad a job. But we'll get that filmed as well. So, there we go everyone. Much more progress. Primary drive side, fingers crossed, done. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much for your interest, comments and subscriptions. I do enjoy reading the comments, and glad that some of you are enjoying it. We're getting on pretty quickly now, but now there'll be a bit of a hiatus while we wait for the head. So thanks again everybody, back soon, and we'll take it from there. Thanks everyone, bye. Right, I'm back sooner than expected, and that's because I've just done a test fit of the cover, and it won't fit with that wire in that position. The reason why I replicated it, well, sorry, the reason why I did it like that was to replicate the way that it's done on the A70 Lightning to avoid the chain. But looking at the parts book of the Fury, then this wire should come out the back and then go in a sort of an S loop up and into there. And it has to do that because there's not enough room in the cover for that wire to go between the cover and the stator. It's got to come out the other side. So we'll do that now. We'll correct that, and I'll show you that then at the beginning of the next video on the Fury, which might be a little while now. But anyway, before I thought I'd do that and let you know before people start screaming at me. So that's definitely it. See you again soon. Cheers. Bye bye. Job done. There you go, everybody. That's definitely it for now. See you again soon. Thanks again. Bye-bye. Test fit, success. Definitely going now. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.